What's up, everybody? How you doing today? Thanks for coming back. I'm Greg Q. Thanks for showing up if this is your first time. Um, what I'd like to discuss today is my views on some of the myths that you hear running around about learning guitar. You'll find that it seems to me most of them are partially true and partially wrong, but we're going to get into the ones that I find important. If you got some other myths that you want to mention, you can throw them down in the comments. I should have a timeline on this one so you can see which ones. So these are a lot of these are ones that beginners will say. So some of them are things you'll hear from other people, but some are what beginners think when they start. And we're going to start with the first one is you need to learn guitar on acoustic first. Now, this is not true. I'll tell you the benefits of it. One of the nice things about learning on acoustic is that you're concentrating more on rhythm, which is to me the most important part, and to a lot of people the most important part of learning guitar. And it also gets your fingers it's like a kind of a workout for your fingers. So if you learn on acoustic, then once you move to electric, it's easy. But if you've got a nice electric and a little bit of, well, not even a nice electric, but just a electric guitar and a little amp, a lot of the things you learn are going to be easier to learn on electric because the strings are lighter and the action, that's what they call the distance between the string and the fret, that's usually lower on electric. So learning bar chords and learning, getting your fingers down can be a lot easier on electric. So that was the first one. So I say mostly no. I say there are benefits to both, but I think that no, that you don't need to learn it on acoustic. Second one is you hear rumors sometimes, oh, the real good guitarists, they don't practice. They just know it, which is total bunk. I remember watching an interview with Joe Walsh where he talked about, oh, I don't practice guitar, I just play. And then in I think maybe even the same interview, he talked about he came up with the riff for what is that, the fast Life in the Fast Lane, and he said he was doing a little drill. I can't play it here because the Eagles have been blocking everything, so I'll just that little riff that goes in Life in the Fast Lane. He said that was a drill that he did to warm up. And I'm sorry, but to me, a drill is practicing. I mean, that's just what it is. There's no magic formula to learning guitar. Practice is the most important thing, but it's to practice the right things. So for me, as a beginner, I think that practicing rhythms is the most important thing, and learning and building up your chords. Okay, so number 3, you don't need music theory to play guitar. That is true in that you can learn some chords, play some songs, watch some YouTube videos, but there's anything that you learn in music theory classes is going to help you in one way or the other, whether it helps you to understand the relationship between chords or the relationship between notes. Your creativity is going to be advanced the more theory you do. So it is true that you don't have to know it to play, but it really helps. Let me give you an example. I had a friend of mine. He was actually a really good guitar player, but he didn't know anything. He didn't know the names of the chords. He didn't know when I said, hey, play a G, play a D. We got together one time to jam, and we just had the hardest time jamming because, at least for me, because I couldn't, we didn't speak the same language. Um, and really, all of that kind of stuff is theory when you think about it. The names of the chords, like playing a G and then playing an E and playing an E minor, knowing the difference in A and an A minor. That's all. That's theory, as far as I'm concerned. Um, Paul McCartney says that he doesn't, he didn't read music because he thought that that was gonna, hurt his creativity. Uh, but Paul McCartney knows a whole lot of theory. You can watch some other videos on YouTube. Paul McCartney may not be able to read music, but he knows a whole lot. He listened to jazz as a kid. He knows about chord changes and chord progressions and everything. And just because he can't read music per se, he still writes stuff down and has, G, A, and, the chord names. He just doesn't know the actual music notation. So as far as I'm concerned, you don't need to get wrapped up in it too deep in the beginning playing, but anything you learn theory-wise is really going to help you. The fourth myth is you just got to get fast. Speed is king. I completely disagree on that one. Rhythm is king. I mean, just think of any of the greatest guitarists in the world, and they're, well, think of the ones that aren't that fast, like, Eric Clapton and David Gilmour. Beautiful melodies, beautiful stuff, and they don't shred. And I've met so many first-year guitarists that will show me something so impressive, shredding something, and then I'm like, okay, let's play together, and they can't play. They don't have, they can't get the beat. They don't have the rhythm, so all of their leads just sound terrible over top of bass of not knowing anything about rhythm. And the last one, oh, I just don't have good enough equipment. You need to spend money on equipment. Along the way, as you get more serious, you may need to spend money on equipment. My first guitar, this was in, I don't know, 1978 maybe, cost me $30, and the action was like an inch and a half off the thing. I couldn't even play past the 5th fret because my fingers would start bleeding if I started playing up there. But I learned about 50 Beatles songs out of a book, and I really started, I got going a lot. My first amp had mud in the pickup, in the pots, and the little turning knobs and stuff. My first guitar had rusted pickups. My first electric guitar, So what it comes down to at the beginning is finding the passion. If you don't feel passion when you're playing, you don't have to feel it at all times. But if you've been playing for 2 or 3 months, and every time you think of going up to pick up your guitar, you just go, I don't want to do it. Any great equipment or anything like that isn't gonna help you. Learn another instrument, or basically listen to some more music and try and get that passion back that you had when you decided you wanted to play. But it's going to be work at times, but it can't feel like work all the time. You know what I mean? So that's about it. I just wanted to go over some things. I'm hoping that this, more than this being a teaching session, I'm hoping that this is something, that'll start a conversation in my comments. You can disagree with me, be nice, but you can disagree with me. We can talk about different stuff. You can give me your ideas of what you think some of the myths are, for beginners, and even for anything else about guitar. I really do like to talk about guitar. So you leave me a comment. I'll make sure I check it out, and feel free to talk amongst yourselves. Um, Respond to each other's comments and stuff. I do like seeing that in my comment section. When I see other people striking up conversations, it makes me feel good. So, but that's about it. I will check out my other video I just dropped. This one's probably coming out Saturday night around midnight, and the other one came out at around 9 o'clock. I have a lesson video that just came up, but I wanted to put this up while I had a chance. And thanks for coming by. I always got to do this, but I want to say, if you're watching my videos, make sure you subscribe and like, and you can share it with other people. Get some other people in here. And then there's that little heart sign with the $1 in it. You can buy me a cup of coffee. So anyway, it was nice seeing you guys, even though I can't see you. It's nice talking to you, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Take it easy.